Hey guys, it's that time of year for the yearly seed starter video. So spent the evening today, started my first batch of seeds for the yearly garden, and wanted to share what I'm doing this year, what I've kind of learned from years past, and why I'm doing all this. So last year, if you guys remember, I did those kind of little greenhouse seed starters that have those little packets that are in this mesh material. Well, you know, they work really good, guys. They work good and they do well with the seeds, but the big problem I found is that you have to rip that mesh off in order to plant them. And the end result is that lots of times when you're tearing that mesh off, you can damage the plant and kill it, especially things that are fragile and don't like to transplant well. So I had a whole bunch of seedlings last year that didn't make the cut because tearing that mesh off. Now I know it says on the instructions you can leave the mesh in, but what I actually found was a whole bunch of plants got root bound and never grew. You know, so it's kind of like you can't win. You know, if you take them off, you kill some plants. If you leave them on, you get some that bind up and just don't grow. So I'm not repeating that anymore. I'm not using those little seed trays anymore. So basically at this point I just bought a bunch of these just simple, I think these are the peat moss egg cartons. And I actually got them really cheap. I actually went into like, I think it was Walmart when they were getting ready for Christmas. So it was like just before Thanksgiving. And they had a whole bunch of the garden stuff on clearance. And I picked up a couple packages of these for like $1. I think they were normally like $2.99 or something like that, and they were like 60% off. So they ended up being $1. So I did about 7 or 8 of these trays, and right now I got like cucumbers. That one I believe's got some peppers. I did tomatoes, all the stuff that transplants easily. So this year I'm going to do a lot of direct sowing. So I held back because last year, I'm telling you, I started like lettuce and things like that, and they did not transplant well. So I'm being a little more cautious this year about what I start early and what I put in the ground. So it is going to be a little bit of a different year. The other thing I'm doing is basically plastic, red beer pong cups with potting soil. And I'm using potting soil this year too, guys. That seed starter mix, it just... I don't like it. I've used it and I don't like it. I think things do better in potting soil. I think they transplant better and they get more nutrients. It just, to me, it seems to work that way. So I switched back. And this one's basically just a cup with potting soil. Threw a couple seeds in and threw some Glad press and seal over the top until they sprout. Kind of make a little greenhouse out of that sucker, because I'm going to put them under my my bright lights, and hopefully that'll work. So I actually got a good handful of those, probably about 8 or 10 of those, that have got some plants, mostly tomatoes, because I kind of feel like when you use tomatoes in them, they grow a little quicker, and you don't have to transplant them as quickly. So you're a little quicker from seedling to getting them outside. I think you can actually, with these at least, you can get these to the point where they're ready to go outside right in that cup. And plus, they fit really good in windowsills. You can put them on your desk at work, all kinds of cool stuff you could do. So that's what I'm doing this year. Very simple. Once again, very inexpensive. I paid like $3 for a huge bag of potting soil. I bought, the cups I already had, the press and seal I already had. The carton was like $1, so I got like $5 invested. And then this year I special ordered all my seeds. Normally I would just go to like Home Depot or whatever, but I had a really low, last year was really disappointing, guys, because not only did I have a really low germination rate, but I had a lot of seeds that died in transplanting, and I had just a lot of things go wrong last year. So I'm trying to fix that and do better this year. So not only am I starting a little bit earlier, but I'm also just kind of doing things a little better. So what I did this year is I ordered seeds from websites and people. So instead of going into like Home Depot or something like that, what I did is I found people who sold good organic heirloom seeds. So I went online and I ordered basically bunches of seeds from people that sell seeds for a living. Everything organic, everything heirloom. Actually, I lie. I did do a couple hybrid tomatoes just because they produce so much more, you know, so I like to have the extra volume, especially when space is tight. So I do have some hybrid tomatoes and, I lie again, and some hybrid cucumbers, just because those are something I like. I really like making pickles, and I really do a lot with the tomatoes, so I do some hybrids with them along with the heirlooms. So I've got, I think, 4 or 5 different kinds of tomatoes this year, 2 kinds of cucumbers, about 4 or 5 different peppers, a whole bunch of greens. We're growing a lot of greens this year, guys. 2 different pumpkins, 1 watermelon. We're doing a 3 Sisters garden this year, so we're doing corn, beans, and squash. We're going to do a little 3 Sisters patch. First time doing that since I was a kid, which is kind of awesome. And then I also have, I'm doing quite a bit more of the garden this year, guys. It's going to be a little more videos on that. I'm also going to be doing some little wildflower stations in my backyard to help bring in bees and hummingbirds and things like that, just to make my backyard a little more animal friendly. So I'm going to do a few spots where I'm just going to kind of dig up and throw some seeds and let it go a little wild, you know, throw some rocks around it and just make some little wild stations where things will just kind of grow weird. But yeah, so lots of plans this year, guys. I'm really looking forward to the garden. We got it started. I think last year we didn't start until April 1st, so we are a couple weeks ahead this year. And with the El Nino, the prediction is for a warm spring, so I'm actually hoping to be in the ground this year by mid-April.